94.3 WRHD HD1, Farmville, Greenville.
Are you sure this is legal?
Hear the Pirates play no matter where you are.
I don't know.
94.3thegame.com. Do you live ECU? Do you breathe purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors? Now, time for the most in-depth look at the world of ECU athletics. Welcome in to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 94.3thegame.com. Now, here's your host, Stephen Igo.
Forgot. Yeah, I'll think of it in a minute.
All right, welcome into the program. Thursday, May 18th edition of Hoist the Colors on 94.3 The Game. Really excited about today's edition of Hoist the Colors because beside me we have Hank Hinton from Interbanks Media and Team Boneyard. We were trying to figure out your official title of Interbanks Media.
On my business card, it says managing partner.
There you go.
I made that up.
Managing partner. Hey, we make it up as we go, right? But no, really excited, man, because I know you got a big announcement from Team Boneyard, the ECU NIL Collective. We'll get into that. We'll maybe talk some 1990s ECU football later on as well. I know you're a big Steve Logan, David Garrard guy. You helped me get those two guys on the show.
So before we get into the Team Boneyard conversation, let me tell you, I have met Stephen Igo probably 4 or 5 years ago. And I was not a member of your website.
Yeah.
I just joined last summer. I got a notice
Took you that long
it's
to
getting
join?
ready to renew. Yeah, I was always looking at it, but
Right.
I wasn't paying for it. So now I'm a member of Hoist the Colors, and we started talking 4 or 5 years ago, pre-COVID, about what can you do a radio show? Are you good enough to do a radio show?
Right.
Can you host? I didn't want to host a radio show. I was trying to find somebody else to do it, but this show that we've just come up with, and you're now in your third week,
Yeah, it's flown by.
has been amazing.
I appreciate that.
It's been everything that I ever wanted. You're getting huge guests.
Yeah.
The Coach Houston interview the first day, and then Coach Godwin was your second show. And,
Yeah.
you've had Schwartz on. You've had Kim McNeil on. My favorite interview so far is David Garrard last Friday.
Yeah, he was awesome, man.
And that took me back. And then, Coach Logan this past Monday really took me back. I moved to Greenville in 1990. My dad was in the media business, and he left Greenville. We moved to Chapel Hill. We moved to Cary. We came back to Greenville when I was in 7th grade. I was a 12-year-old, and I had to try out for the Little League team. And I was like, what is this? I got to try out for a Little League team? Why don't they just put me on a team? And I didn't understand how big the baseball scene was here. But I was drafted to Jarman Auto the same year that Vince Logan as a 9 was drafted. So I was a 12 playing with Vince as a 9. And Coach Logan was the quarterback's coach at the time. So my father and Coach Logan would sit at the top of the stands at Perkins and Elm Street, and they got to know each other there. And I was not very good. I couldn't hit. They needed me to be a pitcher, so they put me in. And after the games, I would probably give up a home run or something, and Coach Logan would try to teach me how to throw the ball harder.
Wow.
So
Did
that
it
was
work?
Probably not. That was the only year I pitched. So, but he had, I had mechanical problems, and he was trying to work it out like I was a quarterback. It was pretty cool.
Fair enough. Well, hey, that was cool, and we'll talk some more ECU football later. And thanks to you guys as well for supporting the show. I mean, you guys helped this vision come true, and y'all have given me great resources and given me great guests as well. Because without you guys, I wouldn't be able to get Coach Logan on. That was my first time ever interviewing Coach Logan. Obviously, David Garrard, because I started covering the team when Ruff McNeil, very early in his tenure. I was a young kid in the 90s. But it was pretty surreal to talk to those guys. So thanks for doing that.
So Coach Logan is always good on the radio. Yeah. I knew he would be. You just ask him a question and he talks for 10 minutes.
Forever.
David Garrard, we've interviewed him several times. We've had him here in studio doing post-game shows or whatever. That was the best I've ever heard him do on a radio interview. He was great. He was totally comfortable. And told some great stories.
He seemed very comfortable and open. It was awesome. So, go check that out. Those are archived on 943thegame.com, YouTube, Facebook, podcast, everywhere you find your podcast as well. All right, well, let's get into the big news. Team Boneyard, and maybe for those who aren't aware, you're helping to organize, run this thing along with several others. It's not just yourself, but you guys have done a phenomenal job with Team Boneyard, and really not even a year old yet.
Right.
But so much progress has been made on the NIL front, which we'll get into. If you got a question on YouTube, Facebook, drop it. We'll show off these sweet hats.
Yes.
If we can get them on the screen. There we go. Team Boneyard. We'll get into how you can get the hats as well. But big announcement from the ECU NIL collective. If you could let us know what's going on.
So last summer, I kept hearing that my father and I were going to help start an NIL collective. Had not heard that word before, and we investigated it and decided that we did not want to do it by ourselves.
Right.
We were unsure of how it would work. We were unsure of how the fan base would take it if we were the ones doing it. So we actually reached out to two of Henry's friends, who happen to be two of the largest donors in the history of the athletic department. One was a former football player. The other is an alum who is a very successful businessman and sold a company and has given us a lot of money here over the years. So they agreed to go in with us, and we started an LLC. So we're set up as an LLC. It's just like any other small business, but we set it up so we could, between the end of June when we started last year and the end of the year, we had not collected very much money. We not only volunteered, but the four of us put money into this collective. And in 2022, most of the deals were going to Holt Nailers. We were just kind of open for business for, companies around here to advertise with the players. I had a few pay Holton, or, a couple of Noah Henderson got a radio ad deal. We had Holton get a Boys and Girls Club party appearance over at Town Bank Tower. We were kind of a pass-through. So people would write us checks. Businesses were able to write that off as an advertising expense, and the athlete would go do something for them, make an appearance, do an ad. So that's what we were doing at the end of 2022. And, it was going okay, but it wasn't what other schools in our conference and the Power Five were doing. They were just collecting money and pulling it together and having it sit in an account and then putting the football team and the basketball team on a payroll.
Right.
And paying them monthly. And so we didn't have the money to do that. So the offensive linemen, the defensive linemen, the safeties, the D-backs, they weren't getting any money last year. It was just whoever the business picked to do their ad. And it wasn't a lot of money. Mm-hmm. So the athletic department got the coaches involved. We had a Zoom call with Coach Houston and some donors. We had a Zoom call with Coach Schwartz and some donors talking about the importance of this. A lot of our big Pirate Club donors here were not contributing last year. They didn't understand it. They did not like it. They didn't agree with NIL. But, we were able to get a lot of them over the hump by just saying what is reality.
Right.
Charlotte, UNC Charlotte, Appalachian State, they have one of these things. We have started one. We need people to participate in it. And so we started getting some larger contributions in January. And we raised about $400,000 in a 2 or 3 week span in January. And, I shied away when we did your podcast. Mm-hmm. I did not want to give any numbers, but we're almost at the end of year one here, and we're right now we're at $536,000 raised between the end of we'll turn one on June 29th when we started the LLC. Mm-hmm. Now the announcement that I had, we've paid out a good percentage of that. Last year we tried to just pay out everything we collected.
Right.
This year we've got 50. Currently we've had to take some off because we've had some transfers.
Right.
But we had about 56 to 57 players under contract at one point. Today we have 52 student athletes under a monthly contract. So they get something, whether it's $1,000, $500, whatever it is. We've got 52 players, and we're getting ready to add 10 more football players to that. So this month we will be paying 62 student athletes at East Carolina, football and basketball players. Now, is it just for football and basketball? No. We've had a donor, one of the guys who is involved with us in the LLC actually, his passion is girls lacrosse. He gave us $10,000 that we split among all 33 lacrosse players last fall, and he's committed to doing that again this year. We've got a couple of soccer players that are helping us with our social media. They just started. So some of the really good-looking social media posts you see are from one of the sophomores on the soccer team and a senior on the soccer team. They also do part-time work for the Pirate Club. But so there were four original members of the LLC. Once we started raising hundreds of thousands of dollars. They just decided, Hank, you've done most of the work here. You take this and form your own board, and we'll have other people involved that have given money. So that's what we did. I created a board with some other Pirate Club. Actually, all of them are big Pirate Club donors. All of them are Team Boneyard contributors, and some of them are even on the Pirate Club board. We checked with that. That was okay. So hopefully I'm not outing anyone, but I'll tell you, I'm working with Doug Gomes. We've named him chair. He is a longtime Grady White guy. He's still working in a consulting role and a part-time role for Grady White. And he's working probably more on Team Boneyard as a volunteer as he is for Grady White.
Right.
We've got one of our big donors for the Pirate Club, Woody Tyner, who's a retired BB&T / Truist exec. He and his wife live in Wilson, and they come to every single game. He's on the Pirate Club board. He's been instrumental in hiring these two girls to do our social media, so that's been really good. Of course, Lance Clark, who is one of the biggest donors to date for Team Boneyard and to the Pirate Club and the university. He's one of my friends. He's serving on the board. Brett from Sup Dogs, Vontae Leach, Mike Aman. I can't say enough about how much he's helped in fundraising. He knows a lot of people around here. He's a huge contributor to the Pirate Club himself, and he raised a lot of the money in January that we raised. But so from June 29th to May 18th, we're at $536,000 raised. We've paid out a lot of that. We've got 52 players right now under contract, going to 62 this month, and it's going really well. But the one thing that I felt like was stunning our growth was I talked to some people. They say, is it tax deductible? Well, when you're giving money to a business, it's not tax deductible. So I started looking around, like Pack of Wolves, one of the NC State collectives, and now there's multiple collectives at NC State, and they're fighting with each other. I started looking at some of the other ones in the area. They were all tax deductible, and so we talked to some of the companies that they were involved with. They were foundations. They were able to collect the money and pay it out to the players and have it be tax deductible to the fan base, to the contributors. That's what we were looking to do, and we found a local charity that fits right in with what we were trying to do, and that charity is the Parents for Public Schools of Pitt County. The Parents for Public Schools is a national charity, and the PPSPC is the local chapter of it. We started meeting with them, talking to them on the phone. We worked out a deal where they're going to keep a very small percentage of what comes into them. And we are going to start, all of our contracts right now with the student athletes say, okay, this is how much you're going to get paid, and this is your NIL activity. That NIL activity for them right now is to post on their personal social media accounts about Team Boneyard, just saying, this is great, at Team Boneyard.
If you're on Twitter, team. You see them all the time.
So our Twitter is at Boneyard Team. We've got about 1,000 followers there now. So we've been building that, but we try to like and retweet when they do that, but almost all of them are using Twitter. Some of them are using Instagram and maybe Facebook, but we don't care. We just want them to promote the collective.
Right.
So that's their activity right now. What we're going to do is we're going to have businesses continue to give to Team Boneyard because it is a marketing expense right off for them. Mm-hmm. Individuals who have given to this point are not going to be able to write it off unless there's some way they can figure out with their CPA that it was for business. Moving forward, and we just opened the account this morning, actually. So good timing on the announcement. The Parents for Public Schools of Pitt County have opened an account. We are now going to direct individuals to write checks to that organization. They're going to hold it, and then we're going to invoice them when we send student athletes into the public schools. This is kind of an innovative idea that we had between us and them. We're going to send them in to play basketball in the middle schools, play kickball at the elementary schools, go read a book to kindergartners. They've got a Stuff the Bus promotion that they do with Optimum, the cable company here, where they're going to get school supplies for needy school children in Pitt County. We can send the football team out there to help with that. And we feel like we're going to get a lot of promotion that way. We feel like this charity, the Parents for Public Schools of Pitt County, are going to get a lot of promotion that way. This is to expose the needs of the public schools here in Pitt County, and I think the student athletes that are Team Boneyard, under contract with Team Boneyard, are really going to like this. But starting next year, we're going to change all of the contracts for the student athletes to doing something for this charity rather than posting about Team Boneyard.
Right.
But right now, we've opened the account with a check for one of my buddies. Gave me a check for $2,500 yesterday so they can open the account. We want ECU fans to write checks to Parents for Public Schools of Pitt County. Team Boneyard is going to get the majority of the money. They're going to keep a small handling fee, and they're going to get the promotion from all these ECU student athletes. It's a win-win-win for everyone.
And so can people still send the money through like teamboneyard.org, the website? How do they go about doing it, or do they have to do it a different way to make sure it's tax deductible? Just to clarify that process.
For right now, to make it tax deductible, we need you to write a check to Parents for Public Schools of Pitt County and put Team Boneyard in the memo line of the check. But you have a commitment from me by the end of June, or in the next 3 to 4 weeks, we're going to revamp our website, the teamboneyard.org website, and we are going to have a button on the front page where you can click, if you're an individual, to give to PPSPC, and you'll be able to put a credit card in the same way you do on our website right now. It goes to PayPal, so it's totally safe, and then we transfer it out of PayPal into the account. So that's what they're going to do as well. And so you'll be able to put recurring payments like we have. We've got, I'm not even sure, we probably have 40 or 50 Pirates that are making recurring monthly payments to Team Boneyard of $10, $25, $50, $100 a month, and that's crucial. Mm-hmm. We need those, and we need to continue to work on business and successful individuals to give us $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a year.
Yeah, and if you're given $100 a month now, that can become tax deductible over 12 months. Obviously, that's $1,200 coming off your taxes at the end of the year. So I think we've gotten that question a lot, and this is now an avenue to do that, and obviously benefits multiple people, not only the student athletes with the continued raising of the NIL funds, but the Parents for Public Schools, local charity as well. So, and this is obviously something that y'all came up with locally, but something that's happening too across a lot of NIL collectives. They're going to methods like this to basically find a way to be tax deductible is kind of the feeling I gather.
Some collectives have even worked it out where they are a 501c3. And I've been talking to other guys like myself who are on the board and involved in collectives at other schools, and what I have got from a guy that I've gotten the closest to is, he says, keep your LLC open. That's for businesses to be able to do advertising deals with businesses. Figure out a way to get tax deductible for individuals, and that's what we've done here. Now, is it going to be like this 15 years down the road? I don't know. I mean, we're going to enter into this and do it like 1 year, one month at a time, really. But and this doesn't exclude other charities from getting involved with us.
Right.
But we're starting with this one, and I really like the angle of this could be the activity for the student athlete. They have to do something to earn the money.
Yeah.
So we're going to pay them monthly, but, one time a year or 2 or 3 times a year, they've got to go into a public school and go make an appearance. And I think the elementary school and the middle school kids and maybe even the high school kids would really appreciate them coming to see them.
Yeah, I think
they would
awesome.
love that. Yeah.
When I was in high school, it would have been awesome to see some ECU football players come in. So, hey, let's get our first break. We already got some comments on YouTube. We'll get to also some questions on the Hoist the Colours message board. We'll see how many we can tackle. Hank Hinton is with us from Team Boneyard at Inner Banks Media. We'll be back. Hoist the Colours on 94.3 The Game.
Hear 94.3 The Game anytime on the IBX Media app.
Is it free?
Yes.
The only app you need.
I love the app.
Download it for free in the App Store or Google Play and get to your favorite radio station in 2 clicks. All your sports, music, talk, and podcasts, including the latest from Steve and I Go at Hoist the Colours and year-round coverage from the East Carolina Sports Network. Listen live anytime, anywhere to ENC Radio's best.
I always listen.
Download the app.
The IBX Media app.
Inner Banks Media's Concert on the Common season continues.
Are you ready?
Make some noise. 1, 2, 3. Enjoy live music with your friends and family, along with adult beverages and great food on Greenville's Town Common.
The next band to hit the stage at the Greenville Toyota Amphitheater is Beach music legends, the Band of Oz, May 25th.
This year will also feature music from Landslide, a tribute to Fleetwood Mac, the Legacy Motown Review, The Embers featuring Craig Woolard, and the Leonard Skinner Tribute Band, Tuesday's Gone.
Details at concertonthecommon.org.
Special thanks to the City of Greenville and the Junior League of Greenville.
Concert on the Common is sponsored by ECU Health, Michelob Ultra, Pitt Greenville Airport, Greenville Toyota, The Air Doctor, Greenville Utilities, Sir Richie Law Firm, Sawyer's Fun Park, Holly Piland State Farm Insurance, Eastern Plumbing, Town Bank, Specialty FDR, Optimum, Wells Roofing and Gutters,
And Inner Banks Media.
Here's some great news from the Seahorse Restaurant in Greenville. People have been coming for the prime rib on Saturday nights forever, but guess what? Due to the large demand, Danny has expanded prime rib to Thursday and Friday nights as well for a limited time. So now get the best prime rib you've ever tasted 3 nights a week at the Seahorse, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday starting at 5 p.m. till closing or until they run out. You can now have the famous Seahorse prime rib individually or for 2, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for a limited time at the Seahorse on Stansburg Road across from the hospital.
Steel professional-grade battery-powered tools. Whether you're looking for the performance to take on residential and commercial landscaping or the power to get the job done in the forest or at the construction site, Steel has battery equipment built with pros in mind. From low-noise operation to relentless performance, Steel Pro battery tools are built for you and built for work. Real Steel. Find yours at steeldealers.com.
Need $1,000 to $10,000 immediately for a gift for someone special, car repairs, or unexpected expenses? Time Financing Service offers competitive loan rates. Apply online and get your answer in less than an hour in most cases. Then you can pick up the cash at any of our 24 convenient locations. Apply online 24/7 at timefinancing.com. That's timefinancing.com.
Time Financing Service. All loans subject to current credit policy of Time Financing Service. 1-hour loan approval and same-day cash in most circumstances. Exceptions may apply.
We're live with Steve and I Go on 94.3 The Game.
Hoist the Johnny Roger.
Now, back to Hoist the Colours.
All right, welcome back into the 94.3 The Game studios over at Inner Banks Media. Hoist the Colours on 94.3 The Game. We got Hank Hinton sitting alongside. Good first segment. Again, the big announcement, tax-deductible donations starting today, right, for Team Boneyard through parents of public schools
for
of
public
Pitt County.
schools of Pitt County. And I do want to clarify one thing I said earlier. Our collective is open to any sport. So, and we actually do have some women's basketball players under contract.
Yeah.
So we've got some men's basketball players under contract, women's basketball players under contract. We have football players, of course, under contract. And if people want to donate to the soccer team or the volleyball team, we'll take those and get the money to them. I mean, we keep none of it. So it's all earmarked for the athletes. And what we're doing with the parents for public schools of Pitt County this year is we're collecting money this year to build for next year. I mean, we've already raised the money it takes to satisfy the contracts that we have out right now for this year. We want to take these athletes up a notch. I mean, we're not going to be able to pay what some of the Power 5 collectives are paying them.
Right.
But we need to compete within our conference and at our level, and we need to stay ahead of some of the people that we're ahead of. Like, people might say, well, that's not a lot of money. Y'all haven't done that great. Well, we need the people that are saying that to give to this, and they probably haven't.
Yeah.
So if you give to this, if everybody that says you don't have enough money gives to this, then we can get to $1 million. And next year, with it being tax deductible, that I think it's a doable thing.
And I want to clarify, too, you said over y'all's first year y'all have raised that much money. Really, I feel like y'all didn't start truly fundraising or pushing until January. So it's
Correct.
almost like really 4 or 5 months of fundraising y'all have raised more than $500,000, which talking to donors, nobody really was fired up about this at first, and y'all have been able to get that money. And I think the realization is starting to hit that without NIL, you're not going to be able to retain key talent. You're not going to be able to recruit talent from the standpoint of they don't want to go to a school where there's no NIL opportunities. Obviously, you don't want to make those promises straight out of high school, but the student athletes want to see there's an opportunity, and now that is available at ECU. Cam on YouTube says we still have a long way to go on NIL. $500K is not enough, and I agree it's probably not, but it's a great start. And like you just talked about, ECU is never going to be able to realistically match what North Carolina, NC State, some of the premier, Power 5, quote unquote, institutions in the arena. But if you want to compete for an American Conference title, you got to be able to outdo Charlotte. You got to be able to compete with UTSA, which is heavy in this. Rice is heavy in this. North Texas, all the Texas schools. So do you feel like at least ECU is now on a competitive playing field in the conference at this point?
Well, here's the bummer of this. I could get 100 people to give $5,000, and then I've got $500,000, right? But then Charlotte could have one businessman just say, you know what, I want to be better than we need more money than those guys.
Right.
So I'm going to give $1 million. And now they've doubled us up
with one person,
with one dude. So that's the problem that we have here. So we're going to nickel and dime it to try to get to where we want to get to.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's some questions on how do you determine how much and who gets what. And, we have developed this tier system for football, and we basically copied somebody else. We've talked to administrators and coaches to see how other teams at our level are doing it, and we basically copy that model. And, yes, we have to – I don't know who to put on the tiers. We have to have some collaboration with campus. So we've got that, and we've got enough people involved now where I'm not the one talking to them.
Right.
So that's good. And I actually just pulled how much we've done in 11 months, and I was actually surprised. I thought it was a little bit less than that. So we're doing really well, and there's checks coming in. We got a $300 check this morning from a friend of mine, and I did not ask him. He decided he was going to write us a $300 check and mail it in for the website. So we're having things like that happen now, and it's really good.
Cameron on YouTube says, do you think down the road people will be able to donate to the Pirate Club and Team Boneyard at the same time without having to go to different sites? And right now that is not really possible, although they have started to advertise Team Boneyard at ECU sporting events. But what are any idea on the rules for that?
So you are going to see some Team Boneyard advertisements at sporting events because we did a deal with the new rights holder, Playfly. Team Boneyard is paying for the right to be the official collective of the ECU Pirates. And with that, we're going to get some advertising. I think I was at a baseball game a couple weeks ago, and I heard the PA announcer read off a thing, and I think I saw something on the video board. We're going to have that this football season. Last football season, I thought, because we opened it in the summer, we raised a little bit of money for the summer, and then we got into the first game, the NC State game, and I was like, you know what? People are going to start giving to this when Jeremy Lewis makes a sack, or when somebody makes Jaira Wilson, makes an interception. I thought they would like reward those players with like $500 or something. None of that happened. So I'm hoping that's going to start happening for them this year. But it was just, some of our largest donors in the Pirate Club are opposed to this, and you can't really change their mind on it. So you just let them give to the Pirate Club, let them give to the university. I mean, it's all helpful.
Yeah, and I just think this thing is still evolving, and long term, maybe there's a NIL branch under official schools, but at this point, NIL is separate from schools and fundraising, responsibilities for the schools. So who knows where this thing is headed long term, but it's the important thing is ECU finally has a footprint in the NIL landscape, and you guys have done a good job getting it started. And, I think people, the more we talk about it, the more we raise awareness, guys are hitting the portal not only from ECU but other schools looking for NIL deals, and it's just it needs to continue to grow. All right, so Mine the Skipper on Hoist the Colours says, any plans for any kind of partnerships with businesses to market products that will funnel money into the collective? He says the Iowa and Cincinnati beer plans would make a killing for the collective here. Do you know what he's talking about?
No, but I do know that Playfly is working on or may have already landed some kind of beer partnership. So we could actually go to them if they're going to be I think, Anheuser-Busch products are the official beers of the ECU Pirates. So I don't know. I guess that wouldn't prevent us from partnering with another beer.
Right.
But, that's something we can look into. I'm all about. I've been looking into. You've had a lot of comments on your board about merchandise. So far we've only we ordered 200 hats and we've done 50 shirts, and really those are for the people that really have already given us money.
Yeah.
But I want to sell the hats. People want to be able to buy the logo on a shirt or a hat on the website, and we got to figure that. I've been talking to a local promotional company that does that. Now, can we sell shirts for $20 or hats for $15? Not really, because that's what we're paying for.
Right.
So,
and this is high quality stuff, by the way.
We pay for the 50 Johnny O shirts. They gave us a deep discount because he's a Pirate Club board member. We paid. We didn't pay retail, but I mean those retail for $100.
Yeah.
So I mean, the problem with it is we need people to give us $1,000 for a shirt, and that's not a good deal.
Yeah, who wants to give $1,000 for a shirt?
Because when you think that $100 goes to the shirt and $900 goes to a football player or a women's or men's basketball player, so I mean, it really just needs to be a donation and then a gift with purchase, which is what we're trying to do with the hats and shirts right now. But there'll be more discussion on it.
Mm-hmm. And you guys, again, have a board where you are discussing this stuff, and still less than a year into it, there's a lot of moving parts trying to figure everything out. So it's not as easy as it sounds to say, hey, let's go throw a bunch of ideas on the wall, and it all comes together right away. So,
right.
Coastal Juan wants to know, are deals and payment schedules from the Boneyard Collective being strategically framed to best de-risk for the potential loss of the NIL value following payment? So I guess he's essentially asking, are you being careful with how you're strategically paying some of the players?
So that's a great question. We set it up for. I've got one of our contracts right here. We set it up so players would get evenly distributed money every month. So if you sign a contract with us for $10,000, we're going to pay you in monthly installments of $1,000 over the next 10 months. Or, whether it's the next 7 months, we've got some that are less than that, but most of them are 10-month contracts, and you're going to get this. Now, have we paid some guys that have transferred out? Yes. The point guard, Javon Small, he got paid the week before he announced he was entering the portal. but it was 1 month.
Right. He didn't get
So
the whole payment.
He walked away from whatever was left, but whatever he got from Oklahoma State, like it's not even that's not even close. But I will say this about like some of the guys that have transferred. You're hearing that Nishad Strother might have gotten $300,000 or something like that. Like, you don't really know if that's true or not.
Right. You hear a bunch of stuff.
You hear a bunch of things, and I hope it's not true, because then he's going to tell all his boys back here at ECU, yeah, they told me I was going to get 300 and I signed, and then I didn't get it.
Right.
I really want that to start happening.
And maybe that's why you've seen some guys transfer to a place and then leave after a semester. Maybe it doesn't happen, because otherwise, why else would they leave? And that's just an insane amount of money for a guy who's a quality offensive lineman. But anyways, we could get into that discussion on a whole nother level. Robert, last question, then we'll take another break. He says, any way to add $5 to $10 per ticket sold and have Pirate Club donate it back to Team Boneyard? Is that something that's even legally possible? I don't know if that's even come up.
I haven't heard of taking a percentage of the ticket sales. I mean, keep in mind, that's a big part of the athletic budget is football ticket sales, and all of it, basketball ticket sales too. I mean, I'm sure that they're still trying to figure out how to pay their bills there.
Yeah.
So I don't know that they would like to do that, but I mean, of course we would take it. Right. You know, NC State, one of the guys there told me that one of their donors said that they've upped their parking fees, and they're giving them, like, you know, whatever the difference is and what it was and what it is now, and that's going to the collective. But you know, there now, and I don't want to speak about what's happening, not knowing what's going on there, but I know a couple of the donors there, and they've now, Pack of Wolves was their collective. They've now created Savage Wolves, which is just for football only.
Right.
And so now they're pushing their contributors in two different directions. Hey, give to the whole thing, or let's give to this football only one. And, you know, when you've got millions of dollars, maybe that's a good thing. I don't think that would be a good thing here, because, I mean, it's just this is not easy. There's a lot of man hours that you've got to put into doing this stuff. And nobody's making any money on it except for the players.
Right.
So I don't know why anybody would even want to do that, but I guess they had a disagreement on how the money was being spent there, so somebody went and started another collective and started a football-only collective, and now they're pushing people to that one.
And, I mean, fans already have so much to choose between. Pirate Club, the annual fund, you know, Pirates Unite. Now, the NIL, it's like if you keep adding pots, it's hard to fill every pot the way you want it filled. So it's just, there's a lot to get done, and hey, maybe not enough money to go around anywhere at the end of the day. But let's get our second break in. On the other side, we'll ask some more questions to Hank from Team Boneyard. Fascinating discussion on ECU's NIL collective. You're listening to Hoist the Colours on 94.3 The Game.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
Texas Roadhouse in Greenville is happy to support the community. At Texas Roadhouse, they not only want to be your favorite restaurant, they also want you to know they love this community and love supporting it. From providing food for charity golf tournaments to their school support programs, Texas Roadhouse is there when the Greenville community needs them. Also, it doesn't hurt that their food is awesome. Steaks, ribs, chicken, you name it, it's legendary. Texas Roadhouse, Southwest Greenville Boulevard, Greenville.
My daughter Ava is 3 years old, and she's been at Children's World since she was about 6 months. She calls it camp because that's what it feels like to her. She gets to learn, but she also gets to play, like really play. She gets to be a kid. Ava absolutely loves Children's World, and I love the peace of mind it brings me. Not just the safety of the campus, but the amount of work and dedication that goes into things like development, communication, nutrition, and activity. When she turns 5, she'll definitely attend Walton Academy, which is part of Children's World. It's the same amazing people. Best of all, the values are the same. This isn't the traditional style of teaching. It focuses on the whole child and places a greater value on the process of learning. You know, when I was growing up, I got an education. But Ava, she's getting knowledge, confidence, problem-solving skills, an entire learning experience that's centered on her. That means everything to me.
Building minds with a creative and engaging curriculum. Children's World Learning Center and Walton Academy, Greenville.
Children's World and Walton Academy.
Inner Banks Media's Concert on the Common season continues. Are you ready?
Make some noise. 1, 2, 3. Enjoy live music with your friends and family, along with adult beverages and great food on Greenville's Town Common.
The next band to hit the stage at the Greenville Toyota Amphitheater is Beach Music Legends, the Band of Oz, May 25th.
This year will also feature music from Landslide, a tribute to Fleetwood Mac, the Legacy Motown Review, The Embers featuring Craig Woolard, and the Leonard Skinner Tribute Band, Tuesday's Gone.
Details at concertonthecommon.org.
Special thanks to the City of Greenville and the Junior League of Greenville.
Concert on the Common is sponsored by ECU Health, Michelob Ultra, Pitt Greenville Airport, Greenville Toyota, The Air Doctor, Greenville Utilities, Sir Richie Law Firm, Sawyer's Fun Park, Holly Pilan State Farm Insurance, Eastern Plumbing, Town Bank, Specialty FDR, Optimum Wells Roofing and Gutters,
and Inner Banks Media.
Climb aboard as we set sail and hoist the colors.
Ahar, matey.
Back to the show with Steve and I go on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back into the studio. Hoist the Colors on 94.3 The Game. Got Hank Hinton from Team Boneyard and Inner Banks Media here. Lots of stuff to discuss, and man, we can have like a 3-hour show. I was worried if we could go the whole hour, and I feel like we barely covered anything.
Sorry for rambling,
yeah,
Steve.
All good, man. All right, so somebody wants to know, do you guys at Team Boneyard plan to hire a full-time sales position, or is it all on you and the other guys that started it? And I'll say this before you answer it. It's amazing to see kind of as we've evolved in this. You know, this isn't just a one-time deal. Like, y'all have raised all this money, but as you said, it's all being spent. Y'all got to raise it all again, and it's taking a lot of work. So do you have to hire a full-time sales position to kind of really conceivably do this on an annual basis?
Well, if you're going to hire a full-time person and put them on salary, you need to budget for it. And so far in year one, we have not budgeted for that. Can we do that? Yes. Can we do it without that? I think so. We're actually, the board is actually talking to a couple of people that both live here in Greenville, and they travel around, and they know a lot of people. They know a lot of Pirate alums and donors, and we're actually in talks with them right now about possibly doing some sales for Team Boneyard on commission only. Mm-hmm. So right now, you know, the members of the board and the original LLC and a couple of other people that we're friends with have done all the fundraising. And we've done a heck of a job just by hitting the people that we know. But we know there's people out there that would give to this that we don't know.
Right.
I mean, I want to say that 95 to 99% of our money has come from the state of North Carolina. So we're not reaching out into other states. And so that would be something that these two folks would be able to do. And if they're willing to do it commission only, I think it's a win. So we're talking about doing that for year two. You know, one step at a time. I mean, we just did this deal with the charity, so it's now going to be tax deductible. I know it's complicated. You have to write the check to them to get the tax deduction, but we're going to get most of it. And when I say we, I mean the student athletes.
Yeah, it all goes to them. You guys are volunteering to do this, and for the betterment of ECU. Without NIL, you know, who knows where ECU would be right now in the foreseeable future of college athletics. Rod Gray on Facebook says, how much money is needed annually, in your opinion, and how is the money prioritized to be distributed to the student athletes? We talked a little bit about that earlier, but if you could maybe talk about those two items.
So first of all, let me give a shout out to Rod Gray because he worked for Henry Hinton back in the 90s.
There you go, Rod.
And he had a Hyundai Scoop, was a stick shift, and I used to think that was the coolest car in the world when I was like 13 years old. It's probably wasn't worth very much, Rod. Rod's probably driving a better vehicle now. But all right, so as far as how much money is needed, I mean,
you can never have enough.
The number that I kept hearing when we first got started, or actually at the beginning of this year, after Tulane won the conference and the Cotton Bowl, and who did they beat? They beat
USC.
Yeah, huge. So they beat Lincoln Riley and USC. The number I was hearing from them is they had $1 million. And if that was us and we beat USC in the Cotton Bowl, I bet we could have had more than $1 million. Okay, so that's going to the success of the football program and the team is going to determine a lot of this, I think. But we've done over $500,000 so far this year and counting. I think the tax deductible charity partnership is going to take us to another level. But we have to continue to get the small monthly contributions, and we have to continue to get the big ones. And, can we do $1 million this year or next year? I think so. It's going to depend on the success of the programs. I really think that we are trending in the right direction in both football and basketball. I'm really excited about Coach Schwartz.
Yeah,
he's only been
100%.
here like less than a year, but he's a total ace, and everybody that meets him likes him. So that's a little different than what we've had here.
Right.
So, this basketball team, I mean, these two transfers that we just got in, they're not under contract with us yet. I'm sure we're going to put them under contract.
Mm-hmm.
But we weren't contacted that we needed to pay them anything. So he's getting guys to transfer here that we're probably making more money than they're going to make here. So that's encouraging. So anyway, did I even answer the question? I mean,
well, you do wonder, and I've had this discussion with other donors, like if you took all this money and put it towards basketball, how fast it would make basketball an overnight power. But obviously, I think a lot of people that gave to this gave it for football.
They
first.
did. If I could take $500,000 and buy 5 basketball players, then we'd have a hell of a team, wouldn't we?
Absolutely, overnight.
We just can't do it that way,
right?
And we haven't talked to any high school. There's collectives that are getting sued right now by freshmen in college that they were offered millions of dollars to attend that university and go play football for them, and it wasn't real. So now they're in lawsuits. Like, we're not talking to agent. That was a player that had an agent dealing with the collectives. We're not doing that. Our coaches aren't going out and saying we're going to pay you X to come here. What they can do is talk about how much the starters and the second string and the third string are making here this year, because they know the answer to that, and that's totally fine for them to say that. So that's what they can talk about. So if that's what they can talk about, and we're going to play within the rules, we've got to bump those levels up. And the only way to do that is to raise more than what we've done in year one.
All right, let's get our final break in. We'll come back, wrap up the show with Hank Hinton from Team Boneyard. Listen to Hoist the Colours on 94.3 The Game.
It's game day, Pirate Nation, as East Carolina heads down to Tampa to take on the Bulls of South Florida.
This is the Pirate Report on 94.3 The Game. Sponsored by the IBX Pirate Partners, Moore's Old Time Barbecue Chicken and Seafood, Fantastic Sam's Cut and Color, and Carib Sea and Emerald Isle.
Unfortunately, the Pirates fell on Tuesday night in what was the final home regular season of the 2023 campaign. The offense was good and the atmosphere was great. Coach Godwin talked about that after the game.
Yeah, I thought our offense was good. I thought they battled. We left some guys out there, but when you score 13 runs, it's tough to get them all in there. But like I said, our guys competed. We just didn't quite do enough to win. But thank you for the crowd because it was electric. It was a regional type atmosphere.
The Pirates will look to bounce back against a team tied for last place in the AAC in South Florida this weekend. First game tonight at 6:30. Second game tomorrow at 6:30. It all wraps up Saturday at 1 o'clock. And the Pirates will be hoping to win all three as well as get a little luck. In order to win the conference regular season, the Pirates will need to win out and have at least one loss by Houston, who is hosting Cincinnati this weekend. The conference tournament will start next week, and then hopefully regionals will be right back here in Greenville 2 weeks from now. That'll do it for your 94.3 The Game Pirate Report. I'm Philip Pilkington.
Greenville's premier Uptown Concert Series returns.
Concert on the Common.
This year's acts include The Embers, featuring Craig Woolard, June 29th.
For more details and a full lineup of bands, go to concertonthecommon.org.
Greenville's premier Uptown Concert Series returns.
Concert on the Common.
This year's acts include the Leonard Skinner Tribute, Tuesday's Gone, July 13th.
For more details and a full lineup of bands, go to concertonthecommon.org.
Turn your car into cash with an instant Kelley Blue Book offer from Barber Hendrick Honda in Greenville. Go online to barberhendrickhonda.com to value your trade, explore inventory, and apply for financing, all from the comfort of home. At Barber Hendrick Honda, we have great deals on new inventory and an extensive used inventory that includes all makes and models. Schedule service for your vehicle online and take advantage of our monthly specials. Barber Hendrick Honda, a proud member of the Eastern North Carolina community at the point of Greenville Boulevard and Memorial Drive.
Have you had a colonoscopy? If you're between the ages of 45 and 75, you need to be screened regularly for colorectal cancer. Dr. Philip Goldstein at Carolina Digestive Diseases and Endoscopy Center wants to keep you healthy. Dr. Goldstein provides treatment and quality care for all GI needs. Just call the office at 252-758-8181. Appointments are always available within 5 business days.
Hi, this is Dr. Philip Goldstein reminding you that a colonoscopy can save your life. Visit our website, cddgastro.com, and come see us at Carolina Digestive Diseases.
Back to Hoist the Colours with Stephen Igo.
Drink up, me hearty Joe-ho.
On 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back into the studio. Hoist the Colours, 94.3 The Game. Hank Hinton's alongside. We got about 5 minutes left, so we'll get to as many of these questions as possible. All right, scenario, player X is being recruited. Let's say he's on the roster, Hank, of ECU. He's being recruited by another school, basically being tampered with into the portal. Are there negotiations behind the scenes of, hey, let's maybe try and bump this kid up a little bit to keep him here? Or how does that scenario play out?
Yes. I thought this was going to be the fire round.
Is it complicated?
My answers have been too long.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Fire
there you go.
We just had that situation with a basketball player, and he came back to ECU.
Okay. So those things happen. And that's basically all you need to know. All right.
I mean, but I've already told you we don't have a super amount of money, but we have to spend it wisely.
Yeah.
But we will do what we need to do within the constraints. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Fourth Estate wants to know if I contribute a dime to the Boneyard. How do I know where the money goes? He also wants to know who determines who gets what. How do I contribute to a specific athlete, sport, etc.
So if you go to the website and contribute, or you write a check and you tell us you want it to go to a specific sport, then that's where it will go. If you want it to go to specific athletes, that's where it goes.
Right.
So who determines it? I think I've already addressed that. Like, the board has people that we actually have not been determining. That's one of the things that we need to talk about is our philosophy of how much money should we leave for the portal? How much money should we pay the starters, the second string? We've been relying on, campus to help us with that and kind of structure it after what Tulane has done and some other schools like that have done. They're paying, we're paying 60 some football players now, or we're going to be this month. So is it better to do that, or should we take this money and just pay the 20, the 22?
And y'all are kind of relying on sources, within the university or whatever to kind
what
of
we're doing now might not be what we're doing 5 years from now.
Right.
And who knows if this is going to change again. I mean, the Pirate Club could end up taking this over and that would be wonderful if they could just take it over. So that's what it is for right now.
Hui has a recommendation, not a question. He says some sort of live update on their website that shows how much we have collected would be a positive. He says maybe if we can't show the monetary value, maybe just show the number of people that are contributed. This would help people like myself communicating to friends the need for them to contribute. He says more Instagram posts would be nice. They posted the other day. That was very easy for me to share to people, try getting them on board. I know you are working on social media.
We just put 2 soccer players on the payroll to handle our social media, and they're doing really quality work, and we're trying to come up with more things to post. So that's in the works.
Pirate says, did y'all fix the monthly payment option on the website? I know that was a bug at one point. Okay.
Yeah.
Are people worried that the people in charge are going to be keeping the money for themselves, is what somebody on the board says. Like, have y'all gotten that issue as far as
this is what I'll say about that. That's what we were worried about when we started this thing, that people are going to accuse us of stealing money or keeping the money. We're keeping none of the money, and in fact, we're volunteering our time, and we are putting my company's Interbanks Media, we're putting money into Team Boneyard. So nothing has come out, and I don't even want to go buy something from Interbanks Media and reimburse us from Team Boneyard, so I won't do that. But we've bought hats from Team Boneyard, and we've bought 50 shirts, and other than that, every single dime has gone into the pockets of an athlete.
Right.
So this new contract with the charity, they're going to get a minor handling fee, and then we pay credit card fees, and then everything else goes to the athletes.
All right, he's Hank Hinton. We got to get out of here, but Hank, this was fun. We'll get you back on in time. And again, big announcement, tax deductible, and you guys will have more information on the site in the coming days. But if they write the check to
Parents for Public Schools of Pitt County.
Okay, there you go. Tax deductible Team Boneyard contribution. We'll have Hank on again to answer more questions, but we got through as many as we could. This has been Hoist the Colors on 94.3 The Game. Thanks for listening.
This has been Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo. Tune in weekdays at noon for all things ECU sports. Get a recap of the show at 943thegame.com, on Twitter, Facebook, or anywhere you get your podcasts. We're back tomorrow with more of Hoist the Colors on 94.3 The Game.
Missing a tooth? Doctors Bowman, Paget & Associates can help you with state-of-the-art surgical procedures such as dental implants. Bowman, Paget & Associates agree that dressing up like a pirate for game day is one thing, but smiling like one may not be the way you want to go. Smile like a movie star instead. Schedule your appointment at bowmanpaget.com. That's bowmanpaget.com.
5th Street Hardware announces daily lunch specials Tuesday to Friday from 11 to 3. The Hardware Daily Specials are a great lunch for just $9. Tuesday is Burger Day. Get the 5th Street Hardware Classic Burger, Spicy Blue Burger, Carolina Classic Burger, or Patty Melt with all the fixins for just $9. Wednesday is Flatbread Pizzas for just $9, including Bacon Chicken Ranch or pepperoni or vegetarian. On Thursday, it's the famous 5th Street Hardware Reuben, BLT, Club, or Grilled Pimento Cheese Sandwich with all the fixings for $9. The Friday $9 lunch special at 5th Street Hardware is fried fish, shrimp, or chicken tenders. 5th Street Hardware is the perfect spot for a business lunch or casual lunch with friends. And now the $9 Hardware Daily Specials make 5th Street Hardware the hot spot for lunch.